Hey guys, today I'm going to be restoring this Hornby Caledonian Railways LMS Pug with the aid of Bunters Yard replacement Smokey Joe funnels and uh, handrail brackets, I'm going to call them. I think they're called handrail knobs or something, but I mean, there's plenty of names for them, but we're just going to use them to give this pug a bit more detail. I bought this poor old bugger for about £6 on eBay. It was stated as non-runner, but it was honestly very non-runner. As in, the worm gear was completely done for. Look at that. Like, what on earth has happened here? Like, I'm sure there's been no lubrication, but usually, if there's no lubrication on these gears, it's the drive gear that goes first, not the worm. So that's something different for me then. But yeah, I did film a clip where I was going to fully restore this, like just do a proper restoration video, but then I remembered me doing restoration videos is a bit crap. So we're just going to make this all about this lovely little bit of kit and see if it's any good. Because I've been meaning to buy this for a while, but I've never had a reason to. So it's sort of a review and a bit of a promotion for Bunters Yard. And we got a good test subject to use it on. This poor old bugger also seems to have just been sitting in a box, probably a wet box, because the rear coupling is rusty, so I'm going to have to sand this down and paint it black. But the rear, with the back of the cab plate and some of the sole bar and steps, like here, they've been pitted and corroded, probably from sitting bum first in some water, like a very wet box or something, I don't know. But as you can see, that's what it used to look like on the back of the step. Went over it with a wire brush for a bit, and this is what's underneath it. I might go over this with a bit of filler to smooth out, but it's most likely I'm just going to try and get this as good as I can, but kind of leave it as is, just so it's still got its battle scars of its previous owner. The linkage is a bit corroded, but I'm going to leave that as is. The chassis has been naturally rusted and weathered, with bits of rust from the coupling just soaking into the plastic. So I don't need to do any weathering there, it's all natural. It runs well. Runs pretty well actually now, after giving the wheels and the wheel backs a clean. Oh, that's the first time it actually ran really well backwards. I thought it was going to stutter a bit. Of course, this is a pocket rocket, but I imagine it's not going to be too fast because it's got that weighty foot plate to keep some of the traction, well, to turn some of the speed into traction. I'm sure that's how science works. But something about this pug I really like, and I've always wanted. Like, I grew up with the Caledonian blue version, as you could see here. This isn't actually my childhood one, but this is a replacement I had because I've buggered up the childhood one and I've modified this one severely. I think it's because there was a train set back then with this and three matching livery four-wheeled coaches that Hornby did. I'm not sure what the set was called. It was probably something like Midland Cross Country, I think. But it's such a nice little set. Just a lovely little, neat little 040 and some matching coaches. And three of them. Like, just three uniform, identical coaches. Why can't we have sets like this these days, where it's just a nice little 040 that isn't some private owner gubbins, and some nice little coaches? Like, even if I don't need it, I would definitely buy a set with a Cali Pug in BR Black, like properly done in BR Black with the red buffer beams, or partial red buffer beams, and three four-wheeled coaches in some sort of BR maroon looking thing. I'd buy that. Or something similar, you know? Actually, before I get onto fitting the funnel or the handrail part, I needed to fit the rear handrails, which I completely forgot while I was like painting the red oxide onto the footplate. I did keep the pitting in the end. It just makes it feel one of a kind, sort of, and just shows what damage it gained in its previous life. But yeah, this is just some 0.45mm nickel wire. This is meant to fit the the handrail brackets, and it also fits in this little hole because when these Cali Pugs first came out, they used to have handrails along the tank and the rear of the cab, but at some point Hornby did away with them and poorly filled in the holes, so on some models you could still see the little lumps of where the handrail knobs would have went in, and you could still see the little like clip, not really a clip, but sort of like bracket thing where the wire handrail for the rear would have clipped into with a hole on the bottom. Originally it would have gone up and around over the top of the cab roof and then joined to the other side, but I just usually, just to save wire, I just cut a little rod that is as long to touch the cab roof here and then just paint it. Looks a bit more finer as well, because when it's up and over the top of the cab roof you can still see it, if you get what I mean. But yeah, I'm going to have to try and get this body off while this primer is still a little bit wet. Oh, happy days. Right, now I'm going to fit one of these chimneys. To describe the feeling of these printed parts, I'm not sure what type of plastic these have been printed in, but they're firm, but they have sort of the lightest texture of rubber. I'm not sure what material that would be, but they still look they look plastic and rubbery at the same time. So like the side where the print lines would be, it feels a bit rubbery, but on top and bottom they're pretty, well, solid. It was the same sort of material when I bought his wheelie bins. I bought some models of his wheelie bins for my layout of D. Lucy. Right, we're going to sand off, we're going to file down this broken off bit of the old funnel so it's nice and flush for the new one to sit on. We're going to make a hole as well. The one thing I'm worried about is I haven't actually got the foot plate with me, and I feel like I need to drill a hole into that so I can actually get this bottom half of the funnel in, which won't want to focus. There we go. Yeah, just, you know, I'll try and bodge around it. I tried to cut it and it broke off of the little stem, so I imagine that's meant to happen. We'll work around this, don't worry. It's probably just me not handling this stuff properly. Right, there we go. There's a decent enough sized hole for this funnel to sort of plug in. I used this drill bit. I know it's not very helpful, but it literally has no markings on it, and pretty much all my drill bits have no markings of how big they are. So just find a drill bit that's big enough for you. Right. Right, well that looks just about one-to-one fit. It's much better than using a piece of, like a plastic straw or something, which looks like crap. It's not very stovepipe chimney of you, is it? But this is good. I think I'll just give it a few of my views at the minute. I'd like to see Bunter just make like a pack of 20 of these handrail knobs. Probably like a more versatile plastic than this, maybe, I don't know. Because if you try and search up for spare handrail knobs on eBay or anywhere else, you either get the brass ones from Alan Gibson or something, and they're pretty much hard to come by, or maybe just like a one-off Hornby one from Peter's Spares that cost you like 10 million quid to get it in. Look, I like Peter's Spares too, but his prices on eBay are friggin' stupid because of eBay fees and nonsense, but you know, yeah, a pack of like 20 of these would be lovely. But there's like 6 in the pack. 3, oh, what? I can't count. 12. There's 12 here. 12 of them here and 2 funnels. So 6 knobs for each loco. 6 knobs and 1 funnel for each loco. Bloody hell, why am I so bad at English? And also, I think I'd like to see different styles of funnels, because I'm sure some Cali pugs had stovepipe chimneys. Sort of like this, but not without the crown looking thing. And maybe a bigger hole for the chimney, because I never really liked how the Cali pug chimney looked like that. Like the hole just looks very tiny. It looks more like a ceramic house chimney than a locomotive chimney, but I'm just blaming Hornby here, not Bunter. So there's my sloppy super glue job. It's alright. It'll all be painted black soon enough. And we'll get on with that then. Right, now we're going to drill the holes. I don't think I'll do this on camera because it will be a bit difficult and a bit sloppy, but we're going to drill down vertically, or just like at this angle. So the handrail goes on flat pretty much onto the tank. Again, I do not know what size drill bit this is. This is just the right size for the little ends of the handrail knobs. And I've already put them onto the bit of 0.45 millimeter nickel silver rod. So we're just going to do that now, and I'll cut back to when I've put them in place. Tell you what, a bit of black paint onto that smoke box and onto these handrails, and that'd look bloody gorgeous. I was actually worried about the LMS here. The lettering was way too high up, and it should be a bit down here, because like it's right near the middle hole. So yeah, but that looks bloody well. The handrail knobs are meant to be round, but Bunts has printed them as sort of like a circle, like a very tiny donut shape. But that's fine. It doesn't really matter too much. It's just much better. And honestly, I like how close to the tank they are. Because, let's take Percy for example. I used these handrail knobs from the bottom, I'll call it the underbelly tank, of my Hornby J94, which is now Magnum. You could tell they're a bit long, so they kind of stick out from the tank a bit. They look a bit funny. But I like the length on these. They're good. Definitely recommend if we could make like a pack of 20 of these handrail knobs to go for like what, £5 or something. Right, let's do the other side, and then I'll put some black paint on it tomorrow. Well, there we go, all finished. There you go, footplate spray painted in pound shop black, and the smoke box and funnel have been painted in satin black. So these rear handrails and these tank handrails too. I actually did them in gloss first and then the satin, because I knew the gloss would stick better to nickel than the satin. I've learnt that a few times with shiny metal surfaces. They don't take satin or matte paint very well. But yeah, I think it's bloody brilliant. It's a good runner too. But I think I just need to give it a bit of running in, because it hasn't really ran properly. Here it is with Desmond. But yeah, I think let's pop down the Bressingham and give it a run. And here we are at Bressingham, lads, where this pug will be living, since I don't really need another pug at home, and this layout to me needs more engines running. So there it is, all complete, all of its new satin black paintwork, new handrails to distinguish it a bit more from Smokey Joe here, its new chimney, and it's running very smartly. So let's go fetch some coaches and give it a run. And off we go. Well, that pug's just been running around so nice and sweetly with the American Lima X Mantua 040 booster tank, and I think I should say my final thoughts, because I think I've already said them, but I may as well say them again. I definitely recommend Bunters Yard's replacement Smokey Joe Kelly Pug funnels and handrail knobs. Definitely do pick them up at the price. For the price they are, they're literally just like under a £5.
This is only £5 chicken burger and chips. So nice, such a bargain, and proper nice as well.
And you get 2 funnels and 12 handrail knobs. All you just need is some 0.45 nickel or brass wire. You could leave them unpainted, but I thought I'd paint them just to make them a little more uniform with the livery. And it really does help finish off the model, and it saves other Cali Pug models from being chopped up from, well, stealing their chimneys to just hack onto the other model. But yeah, I do recommend them. If there's just a few things I'd want different, I would like some different shaped type of funnels, because I know some of the Cali Pugs had stovepipe chimneys, I believe, and just different variety, you know. That would be really nice, rather than just the stock standard Hornby one. And also a pack of like 20 handrail knobs would be brilliant for like a £5. As again, no one really sells them other than the high-end people who do the brass ones or anything else. But yeah, I think I'll leave this video here. We're about to open up in a minute for the day, so I'm just going to keep running and then I'll go find some work to do for the day. Thank you for watching, people. Bye for now.